This is the Gladys Ray Shelter, or as we like to call it, the G-Ray. We're located at 1519 First Avenue South in Fargo. Our hours of operation are 5 p.m. to 8 a.m. daily. We provide low barrier services to individuals in the Fargo-Moorhead community who may be seeking shelter, who have limited or no other options for shelter in this area.
We named the shelter after Gladys Ray. She had been a tireless advocate throughout our community. She helped start the first of so many things, and it just seemed fitting that we would name it after such an amazing woman who left behind this legacy that has to guide us. If we're going to keep doing the right thing, we have to take advantage of this legacy that she left behind.
So we have the capacity to serve 25 people, 15 men and 10 women is our general goal. This winter we saw upwards of 50, at least 40 consistently throughout the night. It's not that big of a building. It does get kind of challenging to find spots for everyone.
The need for shelter far outweighs how many beds there are in this community at times. So we do stretch our capacity, and we try to make sure that as many people have that safe, dignified, respectful place to exist as possible. People, when it comes to like those bare necessities that the people that we serve here are lacking, people don't really understand how far those bare necessities go in an individual's well-being. So it's not just about, wow, that person needs to be able to have a shower so that they can be clean, so that they can go to a job interview or whatever it is. That person is going through something really, really hard already, something very, very traumatic. When you add to the fact that they haven't been able to take a shower in a week, like how much harder does that make everything? Not just, oh, they need it for their hygiene and they need it so they can move forward with life, but how much more likely is that individual to get more upset, to get more emotional? Like sometimes what you see is a lot deeper than the surface level.
I know that the hurtful things that get said about this community, that it does do harm to those who stay here. A lot of them have really thick skin. You know, they will still live their life, they'll still keep on smiling. Some of them say they even pray for those people once they hear something.
I know I get very frustrated when I hear the stereotypes that so many people believe about the homeless population. I cannot imagine how terrible the guests feel when they are faced with those stereotypes. It loses the individual when you start believing those stereotypes, and each person experiencing homelessness has a different story. They have a different reason that they are here. Most of them are beyond personal choice and control.
A substantial proportion of the clientele that we serve are Indigenous, and I always hear like, just go back to where you came from, or go home. And it's like, we are home. You know, and to hear the word homeless itself, it's like, no, this is our home. We're not homeless. This is where we're from. We're actually shelterless or unhoused, but we are on our homelands.
Try to have a conversation with one of the guests at the shelter and not have a good conversation. If you were to spend 2 hours hanging out in the Gladys Ray Shelter, you would probably make 10 friends. And they would be the most kind, most accepting, most loyal friends you've ever had in your entire life.
Success can be such a loose term, especially around here. I've been able to celebrate with guests who have been housed. I've helped move a gentleman into housing who spent at least 1.5 years outside. Shelters were too much of a trigger for him. He wasn't able to stay inside with that many people. He camped at the river in the middle of winter in North Dakota, and a couple months ago we got to move him into an apartment, and that was just great. That's a big success. Little successes are sometimes seeing someone and just, hey, you haven't been around the shelter in a while, what's going on? And then they show up that night and they're sleeping inside instead of outside for one night just because they need a break, because you happen to run into them.
I really enjoy knowing my homies and going downtown and seeing them and just like talking to them, seeing how their day's going, and seeing how much seeing me lights up their face, and they're able to talk to me and like express how their day is going or what happened, any great jokes they may have at the time, or you know, they'll try to make me laugh, and in turn I'll try to make them laugh.
When big or little things happen in each of our lives, you get to celebrate with the people who are closest to you, and the guests a lot of the time get to celebrate with us. And that goes beyond just this job. It's a human connection, it's getting to know the guests individually, and it's supporting them in whatever they need to be supported on.
It really opens the door to a lot of the other things that people might need that, you know, they're more than just the bare necessities. Like, those might be the reasons that the individual is stuck in the situation that they're in to begin with, and it might be a pathway out of the situation that they're in.